and bright. But alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
Before we get started, we want to give all praises and glory honor to
Yahweh,
Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakak, Badash. Double honors to the apostle elders of GMS, pushing this word day in day out through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai. Once again, it's me and Brother Malachi back with another video. And the title of this video is that the red horse is alive and kicking. And who is the red horse? Esau, so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite. Alright, I'm going to bring this out. And we'll just let the spirit flow. So this is Revelations chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Alright, who was blessed with the sword?
Oh, you can get it.
Yeah, we're going to get it. Who was blessed with the sword? Alright.
First we can get. I'll get this first. This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 22 to already to 26. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment. Because it's describing his color to a hairy garment. It's not saying that he's hairy. But he is hairy, though, because it tells you that later on. Like when Jacob, when they're grown up, like when they're more grown up, Isaac became blind, so Jacob had to fool him, so to speak, supplant that he was Esau to get that blessing.
That's right.
And Rebecca ended up giving him goat skins, I'm pretty sure, to put on his hands and neck. But it's comparing him to a hairy garment, which is, those are dyed red. And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Alright, and Esau really means Ishashua, basically, which means wasted away seed. Alright? Because his pigmentation is gone, but obviously Esau is going to cover that up. He's been switching a lot of things, whether you want to believe us or not. He's been changing a lot of things in the blue letter and all that, so he can't bring it out anymore. But his name was later changed to Edom, which means red. Actually,
and they have a disease. It's called leprosy. All right. When you compare a so-called Negro to a so-called white person when they get to a certain age, I'll say about 30s, 40s, probably about 40s. You notice how they age different. When a so-called white person, they neck it sags down. You got that turkey neck, the actual rooster neck. That's part of leprosy, man. They got them spots, them brown spots on their hand.
Pale skin.
And it's pale skin.
But there's different forms of leprosy, because if you look up leprosy now, they're just going to show you a bunch of like rising spots and stuff. They're not going to show you pale skin. But in Exodus chapter 3, or no, I think it's chapter 4, and then Numbers 12, they tell you that the people that got it became white as snow. So, and notice how so-called white people can't get the opposite of that and be darker. It only goes the other way around.
Why do you think they go tanning? They go to tanning salons because they try to become like so-called Negroes, because they try to make themselves become like a darker shade. They don't.
No, I don't blame them for that. That shit sucks ass. I'll tell you that.
Man, y'all.
And that's the people I come from, it's the Israelites. Tries to look like this. So I definitely understand that. And that just shows that they're the inferior people.
Right.
That's really what that shows.
You
so they want to be you so bad. They were actually doing experiments, I believe it was called the mulatto experience, and they were making so-called black people turn into so-called white people. Like taking their pigment off of them.
Man, there was a picture. The old pictures.
But yet you're trying to look like so-called white people. I don't know why you would want to do that to yourself.
They had a picture, the old picture one of the brothers posted. like what she was talking about. They did it back then, back in the slaves.
Yes.
They tried to make them look like so-called white
I think
people.
we're talking about the same thing. Let's see if I can get it.
It was an old article. It just popped in my head. It was like an old article I read, like very old.
Can you get
I have something.
Oh, okay. Well, let me get this real quick.
With who's still talking about who with the sword, who has the sword.
This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom, which means red.
Come on.
Are you getting Genesis 27?
I was holding on Psalms.
Okay.
This is Psalms 55 verse 21. And the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were their drawn swords. So who's been blessed with the sword, man? So-called white man. He got all the guns, he got all the gadgets, he's got all the technology, he's got all the weapons and arson. He's got it all, man. All right, because that's his blessing. So when we say the red horse is alive and kicking, Esau is over here making all types of contraptions and robots and everything because he's been blessed with the sword, man. He's made for destruction. All right, that's what he's made. That's what he is.
I got it.
You got it.
Well, it says, may make Negroes white. Chicagoan believes it possible to neutralize the color units. So you notice how they have to do that, but they can't give themselves color.
Right.
Special to the New York Times, Boston. A stock breeder of Chicago in attendance at the recent meeting of the American Association for the Advancement of Science declared that it was only a matter of time when the Negro of the darkest hue could be made as pink-skinned as the Caucasian, which he just exposed himself saying that they're pink and not white.
Right.
All right, and pink is a different shade of red.
You guys are
Red and pink, different shades of that.
You guys are red. You guys are pink. You guys are orange. Y'all are just different shades of red. You're not white. White means pure. Y'all not pure. You're not white people. All right. You're trying to tell me that you so-called white people. You're trying to tell me that you're white.
Color of your shorts.
You're trying to tell me you're the color of my shorts. Which are white. You're not white. All right. That's just to show me that I'm not black, because I'm not black. All right. I'm brown. We're different shades of brown. All right. So y'all need to get that situated. You calling yourself a black African American, which you're not even African American nor black. You walking around saying, "Oh, I'm a so-called white person. I'm white. I'm Caucasian," which Caucasian goes back to the Caucasus Mountains.
Because cave dwellers.
I was going to say that cave dwellers. You niggas are cavemen. All right. You
Yeah,
niggas.
that's why in the Flintstones there's no so-called black people.
Right. And you niggas grew tails. The so-called white man is not.
And it doesn't mean that you're Saiyans either. That's not what that means.
Right.
That's not what that means.
You so-called
It's from Rhesus monkey DNA.
Right.
Probably from not incest. That's something else. From bestiality.
Right. You so-called white people, y'all are cave dwellers. You're not white. Y'all are not human, because hue means color.
Right. That's what it literally said right here. Well, of course, I pressed out of it. It would do that.
Yeah, you're not hue. Hue means color. Y'all have no color. All right. But I got this color. This is brown.
What would people call you like decades ago? Colored.
They call me colored.
Yeah, but they're not colored, so you're not human either. Then.
You're pasty. You're not anything. You have no flavor. You have no flavor.
Where is he?
You like tofu, and tofu is white. Tofu, that's actually white.
It says, can you get Genesis chapter 27, verse 38 to 41. But this is by the brother GMS Kwame Sha'ala 144, which is the brother from St. Petersburg. Shalom to that brother, and shalom to all the sincere Akim.
Shalom. You said Genesis 27.
Genesis 27, 38 to 41.
Oh, I got the 40.
And it says, by experiments with plants and animals, scientists have discovered much of the so-called laws of heredity, and in doing so have unearthed a great deal on the nature of chromosomes, the unit of life which gives color. Read Mr. Simpson. I think we are on the verge of gaining complete control over these chromosomes, and that means the control of color. By a set process of treatment with bathes or injections, this new tide in the affairs of the black man will be brought about, and these color units in the cells of the creature will be attenuated or destroyed. So why do you need to destroy cells in your body to look like a so-called white person?
Why?
How is that an upgrade? This sounds like a downgrade to me. Or you have to bleach your skin? Like, how is that an upgrade?
This proves that you're trying to.
You're taking 8 steps backwards doing that, man.
This proves that the so-called white man is ruling this earth right now because you're
inferior.
And you're inferior, and you're trying to be them. Because if you're saying that they weren't ruling the world, if you're saying that they're not ruling the world, then why are you trying to be like them? There's a reason why you're copying them. That's like me. That's like saying, why would I want to copy somebody that's not shit and at the bottom of the barrel? Why would I want to copy them? If you're trying to be successful like this guy who's at the top of the level, wouldn't you want to be like him? So that's what you so-called Negroes are doing. You're trying to be like so-called white people. Our women, they're dyeing their hair blonde,
which is leprosy.
Which is a curse. So I don't know why the fuck you want to follow behind a curse. And y'all want to sound white, do white things, hang around a whole bunch of white people, trying to blend in, but you're nowhere near them. But you want to be with them.
You're never going to blend in with them.
You're not going to blend in.
They know you're an Israelite.
Right.
Maybe not physically, but their spirit knows that.
I got a whole bunch of so-called white friends, and they never do me dirty. Yeah, but I bet when you're not around, they get drunk and talk stupid amount of shit about you. I'm pretty positive they do.
Dirty once they have a reason to.
Right, and when all hell breaks loose, they gonna be your best friend Tim and Cindy and fucking Liz or whatever. You about to see their real colors,
which is red.
Which is red.
The brother said that this was an experiment in 1910 to get rid of the melanin of so-called Negroes. And here's one of the pictures.
Here, bring that back a little bit. If it can focus.
So turn the brightness down?
Yeah, I think you're bright. Yeah, turn down your brightness. You see how they got brown skin? You see the white certain areas on their body. If you can see it, the pale skin, you can see it because it may not be showing too well on the camera, good, but you can. It shows. See, what's that thing? That might be a little bit better. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. You can't sit there and act like you don't see it because it shows. But I'm gonna bring this out. This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 38, reading down to 42. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered, said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above.
I'm going to give a scripture on that. This is Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the wicked, if the wicked is not the so-called white man, then who is it?
Who?
If they're not the Edomites, then who is? Because it's not the Arabs, man.
One nigga said, I think it was Vocab Malone, talking about some.
Said that they're done with.
They're already done with. Yeah, they already done with. And that nigga don't know shit.
Why are you standing there then?
Right,
because you're more than likely an Edomite.
They can't even prove it.
They still have the spirit you come with.
And then now they're saying something because what they do, they go to Apostle Tahar.
Bro, they're just set up agents. They just set up to do that.
Right.
Because they're full of shit.
Right.
You can easily disprove what they're saying. This is even though they don't believe in the Apocrypha, of course, because if they did, then they wouldn't be able to say that because it's very blatantly obvious that they're not done with yet.
Right.
But yet they're going to say that, because some of them say that in the time of the Maccabees they were gone, but you don't believe in the Apocrypha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This is Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So the wicked rule the planet, just as was given to Esau, because those are the wicked, are his descendants.
Who's controlling your banks? So-called
who
white
do you
man.
go to for everything?
Who do you go to? I need to get a loan. I need to go get a new car. I need to go get a house. I need a pack of gum. Who do you run to?
You need to pay rent.
You need to pay rent. Who do you run to? So-called white man. My landlord is a so-called white person. We gotta run to these people for stuff that we need to survive. The earth is given to the hands of the wicked, because all Esau does, the red Hebrew Edomite, brings nothing but wickedness. He doesn't bring nothing positive. He brings nothing positive to us. He's a
not
devil.
Set up to bring positivity. He's set up to bring evil.
Con.
That's his job. That's what he does. So the fact that he was literally created to do wickedness and you still love him and want him as a friend, that shows what kind of person you are. That shows that you're wicked yourself. Because you have no problem with anything he's doing. Read down to 41 and double shell.
Oh, you done? Did you have something else?
No.
This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
And the hatred is carried on through descendants. Alright? The so-called white people, they hate us, man.
Come on. Esau's begging for his birthright.
They even hate me because I'm still an Israelite, and they can tell that through the spirit.
Come on.
Especially because I've been criticized for hanging around so-called black people all the time. I've been called a white nigger. I've been called a wigger. I've been called white trash just for hanging out with Jakes and doing what Jake does, because that's my people and that's the people that I love.
That's right. He's not. Y'all see him as a so-called white boy, but he's not a so-called white boy, man. Esau would not be in this truth.
That just shows that Esau is more spiritual than a lot of these Israelites out here, because Esau knows how that works. That's why a lot of brothers say he collects DNAs to figure out who's actually an Israelite, because it's all based off your father's line.
Right.
You can look like him and still be an Edomite, so that doesn't change anything.
Right.
It's about your father's line, and we through the Spirit know and believe that our father's line goes back to Jacob, to one of the tribes.
Come on. And Esau hates that because who got the blessing? Jacob. Because Isaac gave him that blessing. Esau was finna get it, but Esau fucked up. He fucked up his opportunity to get it.
You need to ask, why do they hate you so much? They grabbed you from West Africa and threw you in slavery, and then for the northern tribes they beat you down, which the Spaniards are Edomites, right? The conquistadors are Edomites. They beat you down and tortured you. Why do they hate you so bad? Why do they really hate you so bad? And they'll never be able to actually tell you, because they don't understand that it's lodged in their spirit that they hate you because you took the blessing. Right. That's why they hate you so damn much. Well, do you want to get 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 7 to 9? Dealing with the red horse. I'm going to get this.
You said 1 Maccabees chapter 7 verse 9?
Verse 7 to 9. 1 Maccabees chapter 1, 7 to 9.
Oh.
We've all been called bywords, man. That's my package.
Okay. 1 Maccabees chapter 1. Yeah, 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 1. I'm going to read down to 9.
I don't want to say it wrong.
And it happened after that Alexander the son of Philip the Macedonian, who cast out of the land of Chittim and smitten Darius king of the Persians and the Medestida Rezin in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the end of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries, if I'm pronouncing it right, unto him. After these things he shall fall sick, and pursue that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants such as was honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Bro, I am weak.
Hold on, was I supposed to read 7 to 9 or?
Yeah, 7 to 9.
I read from 1 to 7. Salakia.
I'm weak because look at the name.
Where? Oh, mother.
It was
Hey.
it was a Jake with a beard, and he's like, I don't even want to try to say it. I'm like, damn.
Was
I didn't realize I was gonna say that.
No,
That's my real name, though.
kind of. Salakia for the interruption. This is First Maccabees.
Salt of the Spirit, man.
Maccabees chapter 1 verse 7 read down to 9. I'm saying Salakia.
Well, yeah,
Salakia and I read.
No, that's my fault.
And
I'm
I read-
saying salt of the Spirit because, like, my package that I got, it says Malakaya Ban Yashar Allah.
Oh.
And that is, I mean, we're coming into that time. Pretty soon we're not going to be known by these bullshit ass names. We're not going to be speaking English. We're not going to be speaking these bullshit languages that were forced upon us.
Right.
We're going to revert back to our old language, which is the Hebrew, the real Hebrew.
All these languages that y'all speak, Spanish, English, that was all created by the so-called white man. So every little bitty thing that you're doing, that you say, oh man, I don't fuck with the so-called white man, but you're going after everything he taught you.
You don't know that all the languages derive from Hebrew,
Right.
which is our language. And that just shows you more that everything comes from Jacob, man.
Right.
Everything. All types of music come from Jacob, even country music.
First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 7 reading down to 9. So Alexander, which was an Edomite, regimed 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule, everyone in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
Alright, so when Alexander the Great died, his servants parted his kingdom, which the main three were Seleucus, Ptolemy, and Antigonus, if I'm not mistaken. And those were all Edomites, alright, which ended up taking over Greece, okay, pushing out the Japhites from Europe and all that, alright, because the real Japhetic people were dark skinned.
Come on.
Alright, there's a whole video you can watch that Apostle Ramlad made on that, which you should watch that if you haven't seen that.
Come on.
But that's the point, say evils multiply in the earth because they were getting dominion, because that's when the Esau first came into power, through the Greeks, alright? And then he came back into power after once the Roman Empire fell, he fell, and Jake took over the Roman Empire, like the Holy Roman Empire. And then Esau came back into power again in the Renaissance era, which means rebirth, alright, or reborn. What was being rebirthed? His rulership, alright? Esau was coming back into power, and since then he's been ruling. And now he's about to go down. Actually, get this. And that just shows that he's the wicked. Evils were multiplied in the earth, and he was given the sword. He's that red horse that was sent to take peace from the earth. And that's exactly what he did.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 13 verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Alright, so he's even doing your own. Esau's even fucking his own people up, man. He brings no good to the table. He brings nothing positive, man. And you so-called white people don't even, y'all starting to even see it. Yourselves, you ever see them so-called white people, they Edomites, but they still be like, man, fuck the so-called white man. You got crackers sitting there saying, fuck these crackers. Because they
realize that they're in the same boat.
Right.
And they're still going down with them.
Right.
A lot of people like that.
But just because we got, because some Edomites be thinking like, oh, we might be cool with Jake if we say fuck these crackers too. No, you still a devil. If you don't go back to an Israelite, you're an enemy. It doesn't matter. You can sit here and be cool with Jake all damn day, fucking Jake, having kids with Jake. You can still be a goddamn enemy. It doesn't matter. Somebody be like, well, I didn't do that. It does not matter. It does not matter. Once an enemy, always an enemy. All right.
Yeah, you did do that.
You did do it. In your past life, you did
This
it.
is 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 7 and 9. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth. So Esau, Edom, is still on the planet today, and they're known collectively as so-called Caucasians, and whoever else they mingle themselves amongst, right? Because a lot of rape happened during slavery, so there are people that look like so-called black people, or wherever else he went, and pillaged them, looks like so-called Native Americans, saying that they're Latino, speaking Spanish, living in Brazil, but they're really an Edomite conquistador. That's why you got to go by the Spirit, man, because you don't know. But yeah, that's what I got.
That's probably what I got too. But yeah, we're gonna end it right here. Hopefully, and praying that through the Spirit of power, Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, that this lesson was edifying. Before we get up out of here, we want to give all praise and glory honor to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua by Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of GMS is pushing this word day in and day out through the Spirit of power, Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. On to the next video. Keep pushing Yasharallah. We're gonna always tell you this because that's what we're set here for. Other than that, Shalom, the Wath of Babal.
Shalom, Wath of Babal.